So we have had a lot of heavy dew this winter here in the subtropics, and as a consequence we have got a little bit of a fungal issue happening with our chilies and capsicums. So I'm Nikki and I grow here in the subtropics of Australia, here in southeast Queensland. So this year we had a bumper crop of chilies here in this veg pod, and this is kind of a classic example of why you shouldn't put everything all in one spot, why you should interplant with lots of different species. We've just had an outbreak in one spot and it has spread to every single plant nearby, and that includes some of the pots that we had sitting next to it. So in this location I have 4 very happy cayenne pepper, chili pepper plants and 4 capsicums. Nearby we have in pots a jalapeno, an Anaheim chili and another capsicum. So whilst they look pretty happy from a distance, they all have fallen prey to this fungal disease. So just visually this looks like a Cercospora in fungal infection. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but essentially it shows up with some brown or greyish dots with white centres. So typically this area in summer gets full sun, but in winter it doesn't get as much sun. So I have a feeling that the combination of heavy dew and not getting as much light to really air out the area has just made the fungal disease thrive. So I'm going to address this and show you guys how I deal with these kind of outbreaks here. So this particular fungal disease we don't normally see until the end of summer during the wet season, and typically it more affects our beetroots and Swiss chard plants. So the plants in the veg pod don't seem too badly affected. There's just a couple of leaves, but I do have the ones in pots, they've just lost all of their leaves. It could also be the fact that I'm not looking after them properly and I don't have a very good watering routine in winter, but I probably will really get rid of the ones in pots and start again with those ones, but I'm going to try and get another season out of these. So first up I want to start by harvesting all of the fruit off here. There's quite a lot of green fruit already, which is amazing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I'll start by doing that, and then I'm going to go through and trim up all of the affected leaves and making sure that I collect them to put into the fire pit. I'm going to make sure that I don't put them straight in the compost. We cold compost here so it doesn't get hot enough to kill diseases. For you to kill diseases in your compost, you need to have a hot compost that reaches 60 degrees for 3 days straight for it to kill those spores. So just something to keep in mind if you do come across things like this in your garden. So the chilies aren't too bad, especially the new growth. It is not affected at all. It is mostly the undergrowth that has the spots on it. The capsicum, however, has a lot of the spots all over the new growth. So we're going to see how we go. I'm not going to take off every single leaf that has these spots. I'm just going to take off the ones that have the majority of the spots, but each of these little spots do have the spores in them. So I will be applying a spray later. It's super important when you are dealing with disease in your garden that you sanitize your tools, and the easiest way to do that is I just have a little spray bottle full of methylated spirits and I just spray my cutters, whatever I'm using, scissors, shears, secateurs, between plants, and that will help stop spread. So that was actually quite a decent amount of chilies that is already set on there. I already see some that I have missed. But yeah, there are loads of flowers on here, so I want to try and save this. I don't know why, we've still got so much left over from earlier in the year. But alas, that's all of the harvest I'm going to do, and now I'm going to focus on clearing up a lot of the affected leaves. Most of them will just come free, especially the ones that are really badly affected. Now I want to be super careful that I don't fully strip these plants because they do need leaves to grow. So I am just getting the most affected ones with it, like 1 or 2 spots. I'm not going to be too focused about, but mostly the sort of yellowing and badly affected ones. Gotta go. Yep. The next thing I want to do is just make sure that all of these affected leaves that are just sort of underneath are also picked up, because what happens is when it rains, the fungal spores splash back up. So just get in and tidy up as many of the leaves that I can see on the ground here. So excuse my chicken, it's her first egg in over a year. She's one of the old ones, so she's a bit noisy when she lays an egg. Anyway, I have done a bit of a clear up. There's a few little ones that I can still sort of see. But what I want to do now is get rid of some of these lower branches. So I did an experiment this year with chilies and the capsicum, and that was cutting off 2 to make them branch out, which is what people recommend to do, and letting 2 grow. To be honest, there was not a lick of difference in the harvest of the chilies. The only thing was it probably delayed the ones that I actually nipped the tops off. Potentially I went too low, I'm not 100% sure, or too early. Maybe I'll try it again. But what I want to do is really just sort of get rid of a lot of these lower branches that are very close to the soil, and just clear up, make sure there's airflow between plants as well, so that they're not, if one does get affected, it's not going to pass it on straight away. So I'm just going to give them a cut back. Again, like I said, I don't want to go too crazy because I do know that chilies and capsicums don't really love big haircuts. So it's just going to be these lower branches and a couple that are joining in the middle. Okay, so there's quite a few very low branches down here, which I'm just going to trim off. Just snip off these lower branches here. So that has provided a lot of airflow through here. Now I have just sort of trimmed in here just so where the branches were connecting, I've pulled those off. I'm seeing more fruit and more affected leaves as I do this, but I'm pretty happy with that. What I will do now is pull that weed out, and I'm going to apply a fresh mulch over this before I do anything else. Because this is a wicking bed, I am doing quite a thick mulch. So same thing with the capsicums. I'm just going to strip the fruit that's on there. Some of it's quite small, which is kind of disappointing, but some of it's just not growing. So whether or not that's to do with the fungus or not, I'm not 100% sure. But if I want this plant to sort of really become healthy again, I need to take off some of its burden, which is the fruit. Because there's not a great deal of leaves on this, I'm not going to be taking as much off as the chilies. There's really, see there. But I do want to take off the lower branches that are touching the soil. This one over the back here is a tricky one because it doesn't actually have much at the top. If I take away this, it may struggle, but I am going to take it away anyway because I do have some more baby capsicums coming, and worst case scenario is I abandon these ones, pull them out. But just wanted to say that that was a bit of a risk, and I'm not sure I'm going to get, it's going to really thrive after that heavy trim back. And the same with this one here, and this one over here as well. I'm just going to pull this one out because it is so low to the ground. It's coming out. So this sweet Alice was all over there, so I have just sort of moved it out of the way. It does make a really good living mulch, but these branches need to be up a lot higher to create airflow. Will cause problems if I leave it where it was, but again, just another thick mulch just to protect the soil and make sure when it does rain, if there are any spores on the soil, it doesn't kick back up. So I will probably go get a tie that up. So I did cut back quite a considerable amount, as you can see there. This is going straight in our fire pit. We've probably got maybe 1 or 2 fires left before it gets too hot for us to be using our fire pit here in the subtropics, but this will all get burnt. If you do have a hot compost system, you can put it in there, but cold composting, if you have that and no other way to dispose of it, I would just bin this. So the last step I'm going to take is applying a spray just to stop it spreading. It's not actually going to kill the fungal disease, but this is eco fungicide, which is potassium bicarbonate. You could use bicarb soda, some people use neem oil, or even chamomile tea, I've heard. If you really want to stop it in the tracks and you don't really care about organic or not, you would use a copper spray, but I'm just going to use this for now. I've had this for years. It goes a long way. Like, you need 2 grams to do a full spray bottle, and you do need to use emulsified vegetable oil with it. So I just chuck it all in my blender with the tiniest amount of oil. So it's like 1 ml of oil and a drop of dishwashing liquid just to help it all stick to the plants. So I'm just going to apply that, and I will do that weekly from now on. It's a really good preventative if you do have an area that is prone to getting fungal diseases on your veggies, so it's a good one to do. I did originally purchase this spray for, oh, my friends are here. I did originally purchase this spray for powdery mildew, but I find milk, 1 part water, 1 part milk, full cream, dairy milk to 9 parts water in a spray bottle works really well for keeping powdery mildew at bay. But if you want to use more of a preventative, this one's a really good one to do regularly on all of your plants that get fungal issues. So I'm just going to give it a really good douse. Anyway, that's how I deal with this particular fungal disease. Hopefully we will get it under control and it won't spread throughout the gardens. I got some really good looking beetroots right there, which I'm a little bit scared that they're going to get. So hopefully that will keep it under control. If you've got any tips for dealing with fungal diseases in the subtropics, please leave a comment below. We are always learning from the comments. So I love getting tips and feedback from you guys there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I need to go find a home for all of these chilies. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but we'll see you guys next time.